right, good afternoon. This is the Discovery, and we have a few questions for some of my friends here. And okay, this I'm asking three of you. Let me start from Rodiane. Can you help me define council culture?
Okay, so to the best of my understanding, it's a situation where or a scenario whereby two individuals or two entities they just judge themselves based on their visuals, based on what I perceive this other person to be, or based on what I perceive this situation to be. So, for instance, bringing it home to like maybe church, you can actually perceive someone to or judge someone by their cover and not necessarily getting to know them or know where they are coming from, and just pass a statement or a judgment on them based on how they look, and then also the other person to judging the other, maybe the other person in question based on how they were received. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's it.
What do you feel that is also?
Well, to me, cancel culture is more like judging a book by its cover. Like you walking up to me now, and I'm already concluding on what you are, or how your values are, just by looking at the way you're dressed or what. So, like she said, bringing it down to church. Some people might walk in here now, maybe a guy with a dread, and will be like, "Oh, this guy is a drug addict or is a junkie or something like that." But you don't even know whether that is just his style. So, you receiving him that way, it spells bad on him, speaks bad about the church, and then him, like, the way the whole thing is just going to go, he's going to feel bad about the church, and then you to feel bad about the person. So it's like both of you canceling each other out. Like his own way, his own culture is clashing with your own culture, and you
Yes.
guys just forget about the whole thing.
Praise.
All right, so I agree totally with what Irogene and Nonso said. And there's one thing that they said that I think is key is judging people based on their appearance and not based on what is inside. And I think another word that we may use for it is discrimination, because when you judge and you discriminate someone, you've already like given them a picture without actually getting to know them, and that way you both cancel each other. Because now me have an opinion about you, and also you also have an opinion about me, and at the end of the day it doesn't go together. And when you bring it to church, is like give an example, let's say based on appearance or dressing, because that's what it's in. Let's say, for instance, a guy comes and like he makes his hair, he plaits his hair, and you come to a church and church already gives you like cancels you. Oh no, you are not spirit filled or anything. By the way, the church has canceled the person, and definitely the person don't want to go back and return to that same church. That's basically what I understand by cancel culture. Thank you.
Okay, my second question here. Have you ever been a victim of cancel culture? And have you also cancelled the person?
All right. So I don't think I've been a victim of cancel culture, but I've been in a position whereby I could have cancelled someone. I think I've learned over time how to actually just accept people and get to meet them to actually see what they are made of or who they are, hear them speak. That doesn't really mean that, oh, at first I don't go like, oh, what's that? That's new. But then sometimes I get the shock. But I've also learned how to, I've been in a position where I have to receive those people. And at the end of the day, I found out that, wow, this person just has good stuff inside of them. And probably this is just their style. This is what they love. They don't necessarily have to love the kind of things I love for me to accept them. So, yeah, that's it.
All right, all right, all right.
Have I
Should I
ever?
repeat the question?
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever been a victim of cancel culture, and have you ever cancelled a person?
Well, personally, I have always been against judging people.
Okay.
But then, in terms of being a victim of it, it doesn't come from the church, so to say. It comes from my home, because I grew up as a Catholic. So wearing trousers to church to my family, it's unholy. It's just demon like. So me waking up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'm going to church, and I'm on trousers and sneakers, and I'm just moving, and they'll be like, what kind of church are you going to? And all sorts of things. So they don't even know the doctrine of my church. They don't even understand where I'm coming from, but they just judge that all Pentecostal churches are this, are that. So that's what it comes to, like you seeing a doctrine different from your own, and you be like, this is not it. And that's how it is.
Praise.
Have I been a victim? Well, I have an experience that I would say is similar to cancel culture. I remember when I was younger and I went for a Deeper Life camp. And one thing that Deeper Lives are particular about is covering their hair. And I didn't grow up in a church where we covered my hair. Like, I'm not even covering my hair. So I had to go for the camp and they had to, force people to cover their hair. And it's not something I was used to. So every single time, like, I would remove my scarf, they would come back and tap me. Tired. I'm like, at some point, I was really tired. I'm like, no, but I'm not coming here again because I was tired of that. Oh, because for me, it felt like pretense. Like, this is not something I'm used to. So making me do this and forcing me to do that feels like it's a pretense. Have I ever cancelled someone? I think it's because of how we grew up. I think it's not like human nature to first of all not really judge, but when you look at someone's appearance, you already make up a view about the person. But I think
Yeah.
one thing as Christians that we should be particular about is not just judging by what you see. There's more to a person than just what you see.
Yeah.
We all grew up differently and we all have different views and different experiences. So instead of just seeing a person and just making up a conclusion, get to know them first before you actually judge. Thank you.
Rogana wants to say something. Yeah.
So I remember this time
Okay.
I was in pre-degree. I went to a conservative church. Like, I don't want to call the name because it's a
Okay.
very popular church. So at that point in time, I was really hungry for God. I really wanted more. I knew there was more. And so I went to this church and it was time they were praising God. It was the praise and session. And I just went and I just blasted off in tongues and I was shouting. And then everybody was turning around. They're looking at me like, what's going on here? Like, what are you doing? I felt so strange, but that was the last time I attended that church.
Why? Was it that bad?
It was actually.
Okay, our last question here. How can we use our faith to promote open communication, respectful dialogue, and critical thinking, even when dealing with controversial topics or disagreements?
Okay, so Paul told the Ephesian church to always speak the truth in love. So it is not the truth, it will not be complete to speak just the truth when you're not speaking it in love. And you won't also be correct to also love people without telling them the truth. So you have to tell the truth, but the truth has to be told in love, has to be respectful. So that's where I feel like I think it has to do with how it is being communicated, how it is being told to the other person that, okay, this you could, why not do it this way? Why not, if maybe you're speaking to someone that is always defensive, we could, instead of just telling the person what to do or how to do it, we try suggesting to the person just in how it is being communicated majorly. But definitely we have to speak the truth, but it has to be in love, making sure that, okay, you're being kind, your tone, how you say it, the kind of person you're talking to. And then also you can't say you love this person and you're not saying the truth.
Thank you.
Okay, to me, just like Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 1, he said love should be your ultimate goal. So in terms of correcting someone, there's also the love part of it, just like she said. And then we as humans, we tend to misplace two forms of communication. We have the malevolent and the benevolent. And malevolent in the sense that you use abusive words in order to pass messages across. But benevolent, you use encouraging words, like words that are more pacifying. Now, I'm not trying to say that you should sugarcoat the truth. What I'm trying to say is that there's a better way to present it. Like, okay, you see someone putting on something short. You can't just go and start saying, why you put this short in a comment? No, you'll be like, oh, there should have been a better way to style this. Like, you would have looked more better if it was styled in a more modest way. So it depends on the way you package your words in general, the way you send your message out. Even your body language should speak love, and not just, you can't just be telling me something like in love and your body language is like, so that's the whole thing. Like, everything you should do should just work in accordance with love and correction.
Right, thank you.
All right, so I totally agree with what the both of them said. Bringing it down to the church, the first thing we need to know is that all persons that should be accepted in the church. That's the first thing. You even see it in the words you just spoke, that let everyone come to me, let everyone come to me. And even Reverend Victor said it, like he even sees the joy when he sees people that, that culture kind of pushes away, maybe guys that play here, he wants everybody to come to church. But what happens is what comes next. And what I would really key with what Igorogene said, she was like, you have to correct them in love, but you must also correct them also. What happens next? Apostle Paul said, like, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. We need to actually correct these people. We need to actually correct, people. There are some things that should not still be allowed, but like it all boils down to love. We must correct them in love. We must show them love. We must show them, okay, this is the right way, not forcefully, like just like pushing them that your gum should show them, pulling it. No, when you do that, nobody really wants to come here. But like, that do you like how you're sitting? That do you like? There are ways you can say. I remember we had a pastor, Teen Church pastor there, because there's a way she will correct you that you yourself know that, okay, next time I'm coming here, I think I want to do better. I want to do this thing. But I think that's it. My
All
own
right,
personal take
thank
on it.
you very, very much. All right, we've asked, the questions that we really wanted to hear your views from. And, we are really, really grateful for the answers you guys gave. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.